All right, well, my name is Kwasi Agbotar. My wife,
Elizabeth,
and son, Abraham. So we actually met these Zainab and Loki and Andre. Yep. Last week, my mom came from Texas. I'm from Texas, and already. So my mom came from Texas. His birthday. He was 1, and she was like, she gave us some money, said go for a date. We're like, thanks, Mom. So we've already gone most of the places in Detroit. So we came over to Windsor for our date. We were missionaries sent by our church in Philadelphia. So when we saw Philly Phil's down on OLED, and we were like, already that dude, yeah, it's great. For real, y'all, it's great. Abdullah is great. He's a great. So we were just going down the street and met them. They were doing this journalistic project, and so we were like, we questioned them like, why are y'all taking a picture of a wall? And so they talked about their project, going across Windsor. We were like, man, that's amazing. Like, we were just talking to them actually just about like journalism and how important it is and stuff. And so they were great. They were inspirational. They made our date very good. This was our 3-year of marriage honeymoon. So they made it very memorable. So they took us down the riverfront. We were talking. So they invited us to come back a week later. So it was a week later, and the reason was because of a poem that a week ago. It was funny. They were asking us based on the Black Eyed Peas song "Where's Love, Where's the Love." So they were asking us, what do y'all think about love and stuff like that. And we're like, oh. So basically, there's this guy we know back from Detroit who made a song, and he was talking about his views of love as a single guy going through, this tough, this rough, whatever. And so I was talking with him, and I was like, well, as a married guy, it's tough and rough. One of the big differences is that it's not just your issues you're tripping over. A lot of times, your issues come out as you're loving somebody through their issues. So and then you magnify that with a kid. So I have, yeah, for real. So we're 3 years into this. So mine, this is just 3 verses of a song. Now the first verse, the guy's not here, but he would give kind of like the single angst, unrequited love type thing. Snap your fingers. So my second verse is more kind of like the married version of that. And so it's more of a rap because his was, and so I was really talking to him just as an older guy. But hers is not. It's a spoken word piece. So for mine, I would ask that I guess like we make kind of a beat. So maybe the journalist side can go like, and then the tourism side. Thanks you guys for Detroit. You can just stomp your foot. So all right, let's stop. So just to make it kind of like more Detroit, like classy. So just to make it a little more syncopated, it's gonna be a 4/4 count. It's gonna be like bump, 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 bump. But the first note is you guys stomping. So it's like bump, snap, 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 boom, snap, snap. See how it gets there? And then I'm gonna do mine. And then after I finish mine, y'all are gonna stop doing that, and then she's gonna do her spoken word. Cool?
Yeah.
Hey! All right. So y'all ready? Yeah. It all starts with tourism. Boom. You're gonna have to slow it down. Good. That was good. All right. Perfect. Because he's a gentleman, better than I could ever try to be, but he's loved me. So I want to follow his lead and love my wife like, and love his wife like. And that's just a minute. Stop. We're Christians, so when I talk about his wife, I mean the church. So I'm not like proclaiming adultery. All right. Let's start again, but slow it down. Let's slow it down a little bit. I can't rap that fast. I'm from Texas. So, boom, snap, 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 boom, snap, snap. Excellent. All right. It's called He's a Gentleman. Because he's a gentleman, better than I could ever try to be, but he's loved me. So I want to follow his lead and love my wife like, and love his wife like. Well, backseat, rear view, looking at her face, disappointed with herself, but I gotta give her space. Plus, I want to be her hero. See, you're sending an eraser, but I can't. Okay, I gotta do that one over. It's still too fast for me, but all right, try it again. Go at the same pace. I'm just going to go a step behind you guys. Boom, boom. Okay. All right. I'm just going to go slower than you guys. Backseat, rear view, looking at her face, disappointed with herself, but I got to give her space. Plus, I want to be her hero. See, just stop. I can't rap that fast. That's fine. Thank you, though. So we were in a car when I wrote this. So this was one of the marital strife times. So back seat, rear view, looking at her face. She's disappointed with herself, but I gotta give her space. Plus I wanna be her hero. See her sin and then erase it, but I can't. Plus her hands closed, trying to embrace it. That was me. I remember 18 years of sinning, thinking love was Lauryn Hill, and all I needed was a person who would love and understand me through this long road of life. Couldn't find him. I was blinded when I really needed Christ. Now I'm free to look to him instead of looking to his wife, the church, because they're real messed up. As he leads, take her hand through this long road of life. Let him humble me when I know he's right. He's so patient with us sinners. All we really need is Christ, because he's a gentleman. Better than I could ever try to be, but he's changed me. So I want to follow his lead and love my wife like, and love his wife like.
So that's the beauty of spoken word, is that no beat, just the voice talking. So just to give a little bit of background to transition, this poem comes out of, I just want to tell my story. It's the wife struggle through this. And it kind of just mirrors how before my life was kind of just like dirt, kind of dry, nothing really going on. And then it went from dirt to kind of like being this alive tree. And I was talking to a friend. He actually just came back from India. And when he was in India, he told me that, of course, India is one of the largest countries. You guys probably know that. But they also have the largest like child trafficking ring there. And as he was talking, he said that there was actually like a ministry over there, and they would go to these brothels and they would talk with these women who basically like kind of felt like an empty shell, like kind of like the living dead, because like they were made to feel like they were worthless and nothing. So their lives were purposeless, like they weren't fulfilled and they had no meaning. And as he was telling the story, he was talking about how I started thinking like, wow, that was my life before. I was unfulfilled, no meaning, no purpose, and kind of like the songs before, like my ultimate view of what love was, when it crashed, I was so empty and unfulfilled. It's very similar to those women. So as he's talking, he told me about how as the ministry talked with the women and really sought to actually help them holistically, like mentally, spiritually, and everything, they actually had this tree. And the tree had like leaves on it, and it symbolized like God's heart for us, that when we start out, it's kind of like not really, what's my purpose, I don't know, to take us from there and kind of feeling like from that point to like being fulfilled and having a purpose and a meaning, kind of like being like oaks of righteousness, like his tree. So this poem kind of talks about that. It's kind of my story. So he's a gentleman, and through many examples he's shown that his love for you and me is ample. Here, take my life, let it be a sample. He's a gentleman. Who else could take dirt like me and with water patiently soak it with his spirit, purposing persistently to make an oak? How? He's generous and fearless. He displays his heart through the ones he sends to be a never-ending witness of his compassion to me. Like my husband, willing to go through the pain that every gardener must gain when he must wait, water, and hope, as he patiently prays and faithfully stays in your soul till one day he looks and sees an oak. He's a gentleman. Still don't believe? Listen to part 2. Here's how it reads. God loved me first and planted a seed, and now he shaped me into a tree, shaped to love him, even when it means I must extend like arms my limbs and watch them bend and even break for someone else's sake. And as he patiently makes his appeal to them, because he's a gentleman, and with each broken limb he says, I love you, I love you, I love you. And as I stand there as his witness, it's evidence I've grown, because before, I would have ran for the comforts of home. Saying me be an oak tree, forget this. And that testimony alone makes me sing inside, because I know it's not pride. When the wind blows against my side, I can take it in stride. Because now I stand in humility, because he's changed me to be a living example of him, his witness, his tree. And now I'm learning to be gentle to all men, because to me, he's been a gentleman.
That's it.
Yeah.